Most Important Podcast, episode 1 of Most Important Moment. Most Important Moment. You'll figure it out. I'm Reese Wood, your host, and we're going to talk about kind of recapping on episode 1 with Billy Jones, talking about fasting. Billy is a good friend of mine. We've known each other since around 2015 when I started my first podcast, the Beloit Podcast. And you can find that if you just scroll down on the stream, if you're listening on Spotify or on SoundCloud or on YouTube. Just search Beloit Podcast. But Billy and I have done all kinds of stuff. He was my campaign manager. I ran for state assembly in 2018 as an independent libertarian in Wisconsin. So lots of history of Billy. But when he messaged me on Facebook, we had not talked in a couple months at least. And he said, "Hey, I want to start a podcast. I'm not feeling too great lately, so I'm making some diet choices. I started fasting." But he really wanted to talk about it. And he really wanted to start a podcast. I've been waiting to start this podcast since 2018. It's been that long. And it's one of those things where, like a lot of things, I just kept putting it off. We got other things to do, father of 5, and family stuff all the time, and your car breaks all the time, and the next bill's due all the time. Anyways, so when Billy wrote me a message, I said, okay, this is a message to me to start podcasting once again. So I said, hey, come on over. Let's do this interview. Let's talk about what you've been doing with fasting. So go back, catch that episode. There was a lot of motivational stuff. Afterwards, Billy said, hey, I've been hitting the gym, and you want to go? And I said, you know what? I think I should, so I'm going to. But I can tell you it's been over 10 years, probably close to when I was a teenager, when I've actually been in a gym for my own personal health. Not looking like an out-of-shape guy, I know. But let me tell you, not a lot of fitness in my life. Every now and then I like jogging, or I'll go into phases where I like biking, riding a bicycle. But other than that, it's just keeping up with life, and that is the treadmill itself, right? And for a lot of us, it keeps us in decent shape, just keeping up with all the things we do. But every now and then, if you're like me, you'll have moments where you're not feeling so great. And I've had some moments in the last couple of years. I've hit 37. I know, not too old, but I'm feeling a hefty 37, not feeling everything that I'd like to be feeling. So I'm going to try the gym thing, maybe an hour, one day out of the week. We'll see. We're going to have Billy back for part 2 at least. I'm sure we'll have him more episodes than that. Billy's a great guy with lots to talk about. But this week, we saw former President Donald Trump turn himself in. And I don't know if that's an accountability thing, but I thought that happening in this last week coincided with the episode pretty well in terms of maybe accountability. I don't know. But it was interesting. If you saw the mugshot around the world, check out the picture for this episode. The image for this episode was my take on it. How much do I have to say about this? Not a whole lot. Let's move on. Talking about what the most important podcast in the world is about. It is a great question. Glad you asked. It is about everything that's most important to anyone else. And why am I interested in that? Because that's what's greatest about podcasting to me. When I started podcasting in 2015, it was a podcast about people from the city that I grew up in, Beloit, Wisconsin. And so many interesting stories. So many. Go back and listen to some of those episodes. Not all of the old episodes are up, but in general, the idea was to talk to people about what was most important to them in their life, their personal story, something they did, anything. And it's inspiring to me. But listening to other people is something that I think is going on in podcasting exclusively, an intentful listening that I think is unique to other things going on in the world. There's so much going on in the world, right? But in podcasting, you have people talking and open ears intentfully listening, which is really interesting. They say this is the age of information. Somebody said that. Google it. I don't know. But I believe it, and I'm interested in seeing where we can go as humanity when we talk to each other and listen with intent. What are the outcomes that are possible? One of the most interesting facts about everything in life that keeps me going, and I said it in the first episode, is there's so much more that we don't know about life, about everything, and so little that we actually do know, that we rely on in our everyday life to keep the world going round. But the unknown is very interesting, and we live in the time where information may not be completely abundant, but the interest to pursue all the unknown information is very interesting. All the unexplored areas yet to be pioneered, that's what's most interesting to me, and I'm ready to talk to other people about what's most interesting to them, so hopefully I can come across other things that I was not aware of. And I hope you as a listener also enjoy that kind of thing, because you're a podcaster. That's why you're listening to me. That's what's great about podcasting, right? Thank you for listening. I'll see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in.